in my opinion, 3 and 1 factoring is probably one of the hardest ones that we do, because it's so tempting to do 2 and 2 factoring. It's so tempting that I would start with 3 and 1 or 1 and 3 as your starting point. Step 1, look for 3 perfect squares. Doesn't matter the signs, we're just looking to find them. 3 perfect squares. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. If you got 3 perfect squares, you probably have a 3 and 1. So, step 2 is to, let's look at the middle term, look at the remaining, look at the one left, look at the one that is left, meaning this one. Decide which 2 others it came from. Okay, I'm not writing right. So this 60x, well, it's an x, so it definitely came from that, and it doesn't have a y in it, so it probably came from this. Now, these are going to form our perfect square trinomial. Step 3, find the minus. And find the minus, I mean this minus right here. It's in front of the 4y squared, so I'm going to sort of shuffle this around a little bit, and we're going to take these 3 that I circled and put it in descending order. 36x squared minus 60x plus 25, and then I'm going to have minus 4y squared. So, how does that help? Well, this I'm going to factor now as a trinomial, or as a perfect square trinomial, because the 36x squared can become a 6x, 25 becomes a 5, 6 times 5 is 30, times 2 is 60, that's going to be a minus, and that is 6 minus 5 squared. If you don't get that, look before at the lesson on perfect square trinomials. Minus, and then I'm actually going to write this part here as 2y squared, because this factoring pattern is now a second one. This is now a difference of 2 squares. So I said find the minus, factor the PST, the perfect square trinomial, and then look for dots. And that's the final factoring that we're going to do. I'm actually going to take this and split it into a minus and then a plus, like we do, with 2 different pieces. This is going to come down here, 6x minus 5. This is going to come down here as a 2y. And then we have 6 minus 5 plus 2y. Just clean that up a little bit, and that's actually a pretty decent final form. I can't simplify that anymore. So 6 minus 5 minus 2y, 6 minus 5 plus 2y. And that one is done. Now I'm going to do one more example, and that's this. Knowing that this is probably going to be a perfect square trinomial, I'm going to look for my perfect squares. 196 is 14 squared. 2 and 3. And then this 6y probably comes from the y squared and the 9, but not the 196x to the 4th. So then I'm going to look for the minus, and it does not occur before this, so that means this thing is going to come first. 196x to the 4th. Then I'm going to have a minus, because I need to have a difference of 2 squares, and I'm going to pull a negative out of everything else, putting it in descending order. Minus a positive y squared, negative 6y, positive 9. That way, when I factor this as a difference of 2 squares, as a perfect square trinomial, it will work out, and it will also have the correct signs, because if I were to pull that back in, it would end up becoming what it was before. So we're going to pull this apart as y minus 3 quantity squared. And I'm going to pull this apart as 14, that's 14x squared squared. And keep that minus. So this is now a difference of 2 squares. Differences of 2 squares we've seen before. Factors into, and I'm going to kind of reiterate this in another one, but this is going to factor into 14x squared minus y minus 3. And 14x squared plus y minus 3. Now, if you know me well enough, you know why we kept this y minus 3 in parentheses. As a final step, I'm going to have to distribute the negative. Minus y plus 3 and then this is 14x squared plus y minus 3. And now that one's done.